Hi guys, this is Carrie. You're watching A Crone's Life. Today I wanted to do a video response to Anne at Astral Lady Tarot. She wants us to show her our tarot practice. And, oh, hi Monty. And it's such a big general question. I was struggling. So I came up with 5 questions that I feel like I can answer to break this down in a way that you might be able to understand. Not because it's difficult to understand my tarot practice, but sometimes it's difficult to understand the way I talk. I ramble, and I apologize. So to keep me on track, I have 5 questions, and I'm going to start with, why do I do tarot? Or why did I choose tarot? I did tarot back in college, and it was mostly for fun. It was an enjoyable way to kind of hang out with people who enjoyed the same kind of things I did without it being too serious. I mean, you can attract certain kinds of people into your life by just having certain hobbies. So that was one of those things. I was an art major at a little liberal arts college, and it was easy to find people that I enjoyed being around, but breaking it down a little bit further, by doing tarot, I had a very tight-knit group that I totally enjoyed being with, and I'm still friends with most of them today. Don't stay in touch like we should, but because I had that background, I knew tarot well enough to go back to it when Mary K. Greer came out with her books where she talked about self-help through the tarot. And I say self-help in a way that we understand. We use it for journaling and self-reflection. So in that way, I mean self-help. But I don't remember what I was saying. So I keep a journal, and I've always kept a journal, but I don't always write in a way that it helps me to reflect. Sometimes I rant. Sometimes I used to just write down like what happened through the day, and when you don't have the right information in your journal, I don't feel like it's as effective as a reflection tool. And what I was going for was a way to discover the blockages that I have for like happiness and productivity, and how am I doing achieving my goals. And with the tarot, I'm able to ask those questions in a way that when I look back on my journal, I've answered the things that I need to answer to get the light bulb comes on and get it for self-improvement. So I have anxiety, and it's mostly triggered by being around people. Like, I took my granddaughter to the library the other day expecting it to be pretty empty. Over 6 families showed up with their little kids, and I was just hyperventilating and kind of wondering, how can I get out of here without causing a scene, because I was just thinking, this is me, my brain just dashing for the door. So I work on that. I work on calming that anxiety, but I also am working on just not being triggered in the first place. So people don't have to be scary. can remember that if I do the right things. um, so tarot is a way for me to ask the right questions and get the right kinds of answers for my journaling, for self-reflection. Question number 2 is, how does it help? So I think tarot helps in a lot of different ways. The journaling is definitely my number one. I have goals that I've set for myself to complete, crochet projects, to stay good, acceptable at drawing and painting. So I need practice time for that. I need to be disciplined enough to make time to do it. I have goals for how well do I keep my house clean. I think my house is clean. It's sometimes it's not tidy. I have little piles of things in different places around the house, and I forgive myself for those kind of things, maybe a little too easily. So making and setting goals for completing tasks is very important to me. Tarot keeps me on top of my goals. It helps me to remember that I have a list of things to do and I prioritize, and I know it sounds strange, or maybe you guys do it too, but it's almost like a ritual. If I do my spread in the morning and I've written in my journal, then I make a list of the things that I want to accomplish for that day, taking into account whether or not I'm babysitting, or whether or not I have appointments, or whether or not my family needs me to be somewhere else. So it is scheduling. It's ritualistic. I make sure that if I do things in a certain way through the day, I get a lot more accomplished. So tarot is that for sure. I also think tarot is good for my mental state as far as cognition. I'm not old. I'm getting old. I can feel myself repeating things that I shouldn't have to repeat. Like I shouldn't have forgotten that I just said it. I tell my husband stories like once in the morning and then once at night. I shouldn't be doing that. And I think tarot is good for cognition as we're getting older. It's a skill. It's another language. It really makes you turn things upside down and read them differently than you would someone just speaking English to you all the time. My writing skills are getting better. Handwriting. I'm working on handwriting also. For some reason, I got very angry at myself about my handwriting, and now I'm trying. I know what it was. I said something to you guys about my journal is really sloppy. I don't have to hide anything in my journal. There's nothing terribly personal. It's kind of just boring. Like why would you want to read that? There's no drama. But I don't like showing my journal just because my handwriting is sloppy. I think that's embarrassing. I'm 53 years old. I should have pretty nice handwriting. I've had a lot of time to practice. But the truth to be told, I've had a lot of time to get sloppy, so it is sloppy. But in all these ways, I think tarot does help. It helps me to think about things differently. It has taught me another language. Tarot is definitely a different language, and there's several dialects of this language. There's the Thoth, there's Marseille, there's Rider-Waite-Smith, there's the decks that have their own system, like the Primordial Tarot, and I really enjoy those as well. But each deck and each style introduce a new way to see cards and a new way to look at a particular system or yeah, and it's exciting to me, and it keeps things really fresh, and I feel like I stay on my toes better. I feel like I'm on my toes. But yeah, I feel like maybe I can't get my words. But I think you know what I'm saying. I do feel like I'm working harder in this respect. I spend more time paying attention to and trying to build my language skills. So there's that, and my journaling helps to keep my goals, in sight. And so this is all very good for what I'm hoping for. So I'm gonna switch you over to my table and show you how I set up for my journal every day. And maybe I'll read some of my answers in my journal to you from past spreads. And that way you can just see how things work. So this is my tarot table right now, and this is my journal right now. So let's see. I'll try to make this as understandable as possible. So right here I have a deck of cards. It is the Sufi Tarot, and this particular card of the day represents myself and my husband, because we are a team. And I feel like anytime I am asking about myself, it couldn't possibly just be me. I mean, we're one and the same in this life. We do everything together. So the only time that it's just me is when my moods are completely off from his, and my card is directly based on my mood. Now sometimes it's not based on my mood, sometimes it's based on my role, and if my role and his are in alignment, then the card will reflect that. Sorry. Refract that. No. But I just give it a good shuffle, thinking about myself, and kind of my state of being for the day, and I get the Three of Cups today. So I am one of many in this world, and who I am right now is trying to work with others. So maybe there'll be a community event tonight, or maybe I'll go to the grocery store and see a lot of people I know, and then I will be one of many. I'll be one of the community. So this is the Animal Apothecary, and this card represents my day. So if I'm having a great day, I will get a great happy card. And when I do this in the morning, it's really interesting to me to see how it aligns with my actual day. At the end of the day, I will definitely look down and see whether or not I feel that everything has lined up correctly from the card to the experience that I had during the day. So give it a good shuffle. I'm probably not shuffling the way I normally would, because I'm on camera and I really don't want to make a whole lot of noise. And this card for the day is See Beyond the Past. So that's a really good card, because I'm receiving a lot of news about my brother who is ill, and I need to kind of let go of what I remember of him and try to accept where he is in life right now. So this is the Visions in Liminal Space Oracle. So I generally have 2 tarot decks and 2 oracle decks. And I say generally, that is exactly what I do. I have 2 tarot decks and 2 oracle decks. And my day and my path, this card represents my path. And it does seem like it's an odd keyword for a single card pull a day, but I believe that the way that we behave and our moods really change the way we need to work toward our ultimate goal. Where we are on our path, we need to behave differently depending on our abilities to move forward on our path. So you'll understand what I mean. I mean, if you've ever had a really grumpy day where the last thing you want to do is talk to somebody, but you are definitely forced to talk to people, you will know that that would be a different card than, say, a bright sunny day where you feel great, or you don't have to go out and do anything unusual during the day. So I got no vacancy. I'll have to look that up. I don't know what that means right off the top of my head. And then this is the Brit's Third Eye Tarot. I have to admit, it's not my favorite deck. I may be putting it in my purgatory box. And it's not the cards, it's the guidebook. I love using a guidebook. It's almost like bibliomancy. You know, you look at the meaning of the card and you see keywords that stand out, or, you know, someone writes a sentence. It's especially true with the Sufi Tarot. There's a lot of words to choose from, a lot of different ideas and phrases that can stand out in your mind for a particular day, a particular meaning, something that just, you know, it's like a lightning bolt. It triggers your aha moment, like, yeah, that's exactly what I need. That's exactly what I mean. I'm going to write that down because that is how I want to word that next time. So with my last tarot deck, the second tarot deck, what I have in my journal is a list of my 3-card spread. So every day it'll change. Desire, obstacle, solution. I'll do red light, yellow light, green light, past, present, future. You, them, your relationship, and I'll write a write-up for each card. So today is desire, obstacle, and solution. Let's see if I can shuffle these a little bit better than I did a minute ago. I'm trying to be quiet for the camera, sorry. Take a little bit longer. Desire, obstacle, solution. So for desire, my interpretation of the King of Wands is a very mature energy, very charismatic energy. I want to be liked by everyone. I want to have lasting friendships. I want to know the right thing to say at the right time. I want to be admired. So the King of Wands as a desire makes a lot of sense, um, especially this being mature energy. Sometimes I feel like I'm nothing but a child inside. And that's the obstacle, I believe, right here is, yes, I can be very likable, but maybe only to children, or maybe the obstacle is that I have a very childlike energy, and more mature people my age don't necessarily identify with my childlike energy. It's easy to say, I feel like I'm still X age. I don't feel like I am my age. It's easy to say that, but it's difficult probably to deal with somebody who kind of lives in childlike energy. And I recognize that about myself. And I think that is true with this card. It is an obstacle. I like being a grandmother because grandmothers don't have to be mature. They don't have to be well behaved. You get forgiven for a lot of things because you're a grandmother. You have your grandchild with you, so all the things that you are silly about and the games that you play are understandable and lovely. Let's see, the solution is the Five of Swords, which is conflict and I suppose in your facedness. I'm only guessing at this. I would say that maybe the solution is to show a more serious side to myself. I do take things seriously. I try not to show the world my serious side because I can be, I can see things from a different perspective than most people would. Play devil's advocate sometimes in my own head, and I feel like, my Five of Swords is a little too much for people sometimes, I think, and it's not, you can't necessarily identify with how my serious side comes across. So I try to be really light and airy and bubbly, and there are just some things you don't say to other people. So maybe the solution is a little harder to come to for me than just let's try to be more serious. But yeah, that would be a good solution, is just to show that I do have maturity and there is wisdom in here to find. but it's a difficult solution to come to in actuality. It's difficult to bring that to fruition. I'm not going to read from the guidebook for these cards because, again, I said it, I just don't like the guidebook at all. I don't believe that it was written by someone who speaks English as their first language, and I don't believe it was written by somebody who knows the tarot. Some of the descriptions in the guidebook are describing actual Rider-Waite-Smith descriptions and not the ones on these cards. So I know that it's not written professionally, like somebody half-assed it, and I'm not interested in that kind of guidebook. So just to recap, this is me today, or me and my husband. This is my day. See beyond the past. This is my path, no vacancy. I really should look that up while you guys are on the while I'm videoing this. And then this is desire, obstacle, solution. And I would list these in my journal and write kind of what I told you, but I would elaborate because I'm trying really hard to elaborate. But me today, the Princess of Water, my day, succession. So you see how sloppy this is, but this is how I write it down. It's just a list of each card, and and what each card means to me. So, I wanted to look this up. Hold on one second. I do keep my guidebooks very close to me so that I don't have to shuffle everything around while I'm doing my journal. No vacancy. The portal is now closed on a memory that once offered nostalgia, comfort, and fond feelings. This empty but no longer vacant space is uninhabitable, even in your imagination. The land of the living is knocking and ticking and talking, inviting you back, demanding your presence, while bittersweet, outgrowing old vices, the past being one of the most enticing of them all, is a step toward liberation, and maybe even eternal bliss too. A promise to the haunted and heartbroken that you will soon be gone from this place, and it from you. So again, when I'm reading in the little white books, I look for things that have been mentioned before, like See Beyond the Past and my community card. I think that this card is telling me again to wake up from the nostalgia, stop living in the past, stop thinking on the things that just are frozen in time, because life is moving forward, whether I like it or not. This speaks of vices, but I'm going to ignore that part of the little white book because I haven't seen vices in here anywhere else, so I can discard that. The land of the living is knocking and ticking and talking, inviting you back, demanding your presence. So the land of the living is my everyday life, the mundane, the schedules, the events, the errands that I have to run, and we have no time for dwelling on the history of things that have already happened, and we simply need to look forward and take care of the people we can still take care of. So I'll take it that way, and I'll write it out. Probably try to be more eloquent in my journal than I am right now. It's, I'm under pressure. I have limited time. So yeah, this is how I do my everyday tarot. I often will just pull a deck and start asking it questions like, how are you doing today? And I haven't spoken to you in a while. Has anything changed? And I'll try to stay connected to a lot of my decks. I have quite a few, so it helps to keep them in rotation. I love this setup because I get to use 4 decks per day. No, that's not true. I use 4 decks per week, and changing it out 52 times a year, you go through a lot more decks than just a single card pool every day. It also gives me an opportunity to really write about a lot of different things in my journal. It covers a lot of the bases that I talk about, tracking my progress with personal development. So we will move back up here, and I will finish answering a couple more questions, and yay! I don't know if you can tell, but this is a different day. We had to stop and come back. So I think I was on question number 3, which is, what else do you do to boost your spirit or your spiritual practice? And I've been working through that. I have several things that I like to do. I don't have a good schedule. Spending time with family always makes me feel really complete, fulfilled. My son lives in New Zealand, so we speak on the phone once a week-ish. It's real nice. I love connecting back with them. Of course, I spend just about every day of the week with my granddaughter. I babysit her while her mom goes to work, and her dad is still in school. So spending time with family is big. It's a big thing. I like to meditate. It's usually a guided meditation. Did I already say that? I do mantras. So I learned how to sing a mantra, and I will sing a mantra for 3 to 5 minutes. It's also very peaceful. It's very nice. Of course, I do my tarot spreads, and I keep my journal. I work on my family photos. Just try to just be in touch with the energies around me. And speaking of which, I have some very interesting energies in this house. I've been trying to communicate more with them lately because they are funny. They tease my cats. I'll have to see if I can get Monty on video. He acts weird sometimes, very strange. So that's the other things that I do to boost my spiritual practice. I also I do a little bit of community work through the Episcopal Church. We are officially Episcopalian. I'm all over the place, so I can't nail down a particular, practice, religion. Can't explain it. Not gonna try. But I do a lot of crochet for the church, and I let them sell it at the silent auction to make money for them, and also if they have anything that can be given away to needy families. I, of course, am fine and happy with that, so I did need to mention that. So my question number 4 is, how has things changed since I started doing tarot? I believe everything has changed for the better. I really feel more connected to my emotions. I feel like I draw more. I write in my journal on a regular basis. I believe I'm better at communicating. You might have to ask the people around me about that. I'm not sure. I feel more calm. I think I use less medicine. I guess all good things. I used to do a 1 card a day pull, and I would draw from that, draw. And I would think about the card and try to get to know that deck. But now I've got so many decks, I really like working with more than 1 at a time. So I work with 4 decks per week, and I've mentioned that in the other part of this video, but just mentioning it again because, I do not want to neglect my decks. And oftentimes what I like to do is I will reorganize everything just so I can touch everything and feel it, make sure that, it's getting some attention. So I do that, and yeah, I think that keeps the energies kind of fresh, alive in my decks. So as far as things changing, I just try to pay better attention to my journal, my art, and my decks. So And the very last question is, where do you think your practice is heading? I wish I had a good answer for that. I think right now, I like how stable everything is. I used to believe that I was going to read all the books and learn all the things and do everything as well as it could possibly be done. But I think that the universe has a time for everything, and my time right now is sticking to basics. When I write in my journal, when I answer the questions that I have for my day, I believe there's nothing wrong with just using the cards to answer those questions one at a time. I used to want to be this big picture kind of person. Let's weave this beautiful story. And that's still appealing to me. But I know that it's going to come to me in time. And I'm not rushing anything right now. It's a little disheartening to admit that I am stuck in my basics, and maybe, I'm a 8th grade tarot reader. But to be honest with you, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with just getting the most out of it that I can get right now. And I'm not ashamed of just using it for basics. It helps me and it matters to me. So that's it. That's all I need. I just need to be able to answer these questions in the most honest ways that I can, and to pull out those feelings that I have a hard time putting my finger on without the cards. So that's where I am, and I don't know when things will change, but where I'm going is probably not too far from here. I might want to write 3 and 4 pages in my journal, make those long, beautiful stories out of my spreads, but right now, yeah, I don't have a really good vision of where I'm going with my tarot practice. I just know that I'm really enjoying it. I love it so much, and I love this community, so I've been enjoying you guys too, so that's that. I think that's all I have to say. I hope I showed you enough of what I do for my journal, and I hope you guys, enjoy this video. I'll talk to you later. Have a great week. Bye. Hi. Editing Carrie here. I hope that I was able to answer the questions good enough for you guys, and I apologize that there's not a whole lot of editing going on. We've had a family emergency, and my brother is in the ICU in Atlanta, Georgia. So I will be taking off to go see him. Not to be terribly dramatic, but it might be the last time I see him, and so having a rough day. a lot's been going on anyway, so this is just a bummer. Anyway, please guys, take your time and go through the pictures that I add to this video, because I had so much fun doing so many of these spreads and these days of journaling. It was pretty amazing, and I want you guys to kind of see the chemistry of how my table worked during this time. So yeah, have fun with it, and I guess I'll see you when I get back. Have a great week. Bye.